Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast.
Hello, Aki.
Hello, Stevie. Oh my God, it's been a month of Sundays
Goodness, so it has.
since last we chatted about Star Trek.
Oh, I have missed you so, dear friend.
And I you. It's so good to be back together. Who's that? Julia Childs? What is that?
I'm not sure. Oh, have you been watching Julia? Is that another podcast we need to start?
I've not started watching it yet, but I'd love to. I've seen the ads, but I haven't begun it. Yeah, it looks amazing. Have you started it?
Yeah, I'm 4 episodes in now.
What? I've missed everything. I'm still on, well, hello, everybody.
Yes.
This is Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast, not Set Temperature, a highly illogical Julia Childs. I don't know. And we're back. We're back, baby. And we're going to be talking about season 2 of Star Trek Picard. We're running it down at long last.
We are. New sound effects or old sound effects.
Yes, it's been so long since we talked about Picard. But yes, today's stardate is stardate 2201410.3. And, you know, I had a lot of crazy stuff going on as Picard premiered. And so today we're gonna catch up. And so we're reviewing episodes 1 and 2, which I think are a matched pair of Picard season 2, entitled The Stargazer and Penance, respectively.
Indeed.
Yes. But before we get into all that, said a little business, little Patreon business, Stevie.
Yes, become a patron. It's fun.
It's fun.
That's it. That's all I'm doing today. I'm kidding.
And Julia Child thinks it's fun as well.
Julia Child. I've been having quite a lot of fun with my warbling, you know. Would you want me to do Patreon stuff as Julia Child?
Oh my God, I'd pay top dollar for it.
Well, you could. I mean, you could become a patron of ours. Well, you could become a patron of ours, too. So if you want to become a patron, it's very, very easy. All you need to do, you know, is go to patreon.com/setphasers and give us a little bit of money, which would go towards creating this wonderful, warbling, gorgeous podcast for you. She's not British. I don't know why I keep doing that.
No, but she's got the fake British accent.
Yeah, Boston. Why not? And yes, and you can join us for all things watch parties, early episode access, video podcasts. Could you believe? And lots and lots more. That is patreon.com/setphasers.
Well, I don't know about the rest of you, but I just had the time of my life listening to that. I pretty much feel like we should cut that out and just make that a stamp for
our
Patreon.
video. Yeah. Well, you could do your James Mason.
Yes. Oh, Julia Childs and James Mason talk about Set Phasers Patreon. That sounds lovely. What the hell are we talking about? All right. Picard, season 2. Let's run it down.
It's time to run it down.
Can you run it down for me? Talk about Picard now. Run it down for me. Jean-Luc Picard. Star Trek Picard.
Either or. It feels like the end of... We ever discussed this? It's like the end of Friends. Da, 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 da.
Yeah. Yes, and in this instance, I mean, what an apt segue, Stevie, because nobody told Picard life was going to be this way, you know?
I mean, his love life's DOA.
His love life is definitely DOA, and he contributes to some of that death. But otherwise, things are going very well in the Trek Picard world when we first enter things. Well, okay, when we first enter things, there's a crazy cold open. It's got Starfleet personnel moving through a ship that's definitely under attack, and they're running around, they're getting shot at, and sparks are coming out of the things, and they finally get to the bridge, and there's all sorts of mayhem. There's like maybe Borg tech is all over the place, and Picard is there, and Picard has to start the self-destruct on the ship, and he turns around to gasp, meet someone. And then we have our classic 48 hours earlier. 48 hours earlier. Flashback.
Love me a flashback.
Everything was going great. Let's see. It was bottling day or whatever you call it at the vineyard, harvest, I guess. And Picard is picking grapes. He's out there with his dog number one, and the staff is all a bustle, and they're putting wine into things, and everything's going great. And Laris is there, and Picard looks upon her with I don't know, sadness, forlorn reminiscence. I don't know. He looks at her pointedly. And,
that's not a reference to her ears.
It's okay. I would never do that. Why would I ever do that? Let's go back and make it so that I did that on purpose, because that's a pretty good joke. He looks at her pointedly. And then later on, they're having wine on the patio together, as old friends do. And they toast Zabin, who was Laris's partner, who perished has perished. And Laris points out that Romulans do not mourn as humans do. We cherish and respect love by moving on to love another. And then she looks at Picard pointedly. And then things get super awkward. And Laris is like, hey, do you want to tell me why, you choose to be alone? And Picard's like, me alone? I'm not alone. I have so many friends. And things are great. And he gets super flummoxed. And then there's a moment gets set, and their mouths move close together, and they almost kiss. But then Picard falters like a big dumb dummy, and the moment passes. The moment passes, and Laris is like, you know what? You got that crazy speech in the morning, so you should get to work, get to sleep, and I'll see you in the morning. And Picard's like, but before he goes to bed, Picard has a flashback within the flashback of his mother Yvette, and when they first came to the what would become the Picard vineyards and the greenhouse. And she says, this will be our own little world while your father's out there like digging in the dirt and your brother's at school. You and I, my little Magellan, will be out here and we'll paint the glass and it'll be great. And he's staring at the also in the normal time's going to get real weird here, folks. In the time of not of the flashback to his childhood, but of the flashback to 40 hours later, he's looking at this sort of greenhouse gazebo, and it's sort of cracked and there's glass on the ground. He does ask his mother if their parents will fight less now that they're in this new place, which leaves her flummoxed. And she tells Jean-Luc to look up. Look at the stars, Jean-Luc. Maybe we're getting to understand. A theme. Meanwhile, the USS Avalon detects a very strange anomaly in space. But back to the things that... Look, Picard, it's all, as I said, things are going great. He's late for the speech in the morning. Laris gives him his tea. He's like, hey, about last night, here's the thing, like, it happens sometimes, you know. And Laris is like, you know what? I'm too old to be awkward, and things are going to be awkward for us from here on out. So I'm probably going to split. And Picard's like, but what? And she's like, here's that book you were looking for. Now go give that speech, baby. Picard gives his speech at Starfleet, in which he says, space has been considered the final frontier, but I have always thought as I got older that time is the final frontier. Foreshadowing. And
note to self: do not edit that pause.
Yeah, you think it's a big. That was dramatic pause. Elnor is one of the cadets. Huzzah!
Huzzah!
And
he's just graduating, so hint about the time frame.
Time frame. How long has it been since the last time we saw each other? And Picard does mention, time, there are regrets, decisions that we made, but so on and so forth. And he says, alas, I will be the last Picard. It's weirdly maudlin thing to give to a speech of a bunch of kids who are about to go into space and have adventures. But he quotes his mother. He says, hey, look up. Look at the stars, folks. Meanwhile, on La Sirena, things are going great for 7 of 9. She's fighting pirates because she's trying to deliver medical supplies. And the only help she has is one of Rios's hollows, Emmett. I think what happened is they combined all the hollows or something like that. So he can't do much for her. She's in the cargo hold. There's a bunch of pirates. They're fighting. She disengages the holographic safety protocols. Emmett can help. They manage to fight the pirates, tie them up, and get rid of them, as only 7 can do. And then they discover that outside of the ship, there's that anomaly that they think they should go to. It's got tachyon fluctuations and Hawking radiation. And we all know what that is, right? Because we all went to grad school for physics. What else is going on with the old gang? Well, Soji's on a planet all dressed up with somewhere to go. And she's talking to a bunch of ambassadors in their native tongue. And she's doing diplomatic work for the synthetics because that's what she does. Meanwhile, Jurati is at the gazebo at the bar completely drunk. And we learn at least that she is not in jail and that she was sort of exonerated for her crimes because she had basically been having I think they call it an alien-induced psychosis. Yes, alien-induced psychosis. And she gets hit on by some dude, and she's like, hey, I'm not the one, bro. So
I basically nearly killed my last boyfriend, but I was only excused because I was under the influence of something or other.
Yeah,
exactly. I'm not the person you want to date right now.
Yeah, I'm not dating material, I think she says. She gets a call from Rios. Apparently their relationship has not gone super well, but so it happens. And he wants her help to figure out what's going on with this anomaly. Rios, by the way, he's in Starfleet on the new USS Stargazer. And oh god, I got lost in my notes because I sing that stupid song. And there's a whole thing with Jurati being overheard by Soji's super hearing, and we sort of get some backstory on maybe how the relationship between Jurati and Rios did not end with great amicability between them. Nonetheless, there's a professional capacity, so Jurati's going to go do that. Where's Raffi? Well, Raffi's in Starfleet too. Everyone's back in Starfleet, baby. She is walking with Picard after he gives his speech where he was super sad and probably confused a lot of children. She notes that he's become the chancellor of Starfleet Academy and mentions that maybe it's another way for him to run away from his problems. Picard riposts with questioning Raffi about the relationship they have with Seven. And for those of us, I only listened to part of the audiobook, so I didn't know a lot of their escapades.
Oh, yes.
Mm-hmm.
Whole escapade.
They had a lot of escapades.
Indeed.
Raffi expresses some frustration that both Picard and Seven are, quote, so damned self-sufficient. And she, even though she probably wants more from the relationship with Seven, she is sort of like, who would get in the way of someone who's trying to save the galaxy all the damn time? But she wonders if Picard and Seven ever get lonely. Meanwhile, Elnor gets his assignment. He'll be on the USS Excelsior. Picard gives him a gift on his graduation day. It's Spock's memoir, typical Picard gift, a book. He tells Elnor not to worry about being too excited, to live a little. Raffi will also be going to the Excelsior to take care of Elnor. Stargazer, meanwhile, gets to the anomaly. They get hailed by Seven and La Sirena, who's there. A little bit of static there between Rios and Seven when Rios sees what Seven has done with the ship. Jurati shows up. A big thing of static, real static, comes out of the anomaly, and Jurati is able to decode it. It's a message in a bunch of different languages. And guess what they're saying? They're saying, help us, Picard. So, yeah, no reason to freak out about that. Meanwhile, Picard goes to visit Guinan, to a bar. And
it's 10 forward.
It's a bar called 10 Forward, yes, but not on a spaceship.
Is the bar called 10 Forward, or is the address 10 Forward? I forget. I feel like it was number 10 at Forward Ave.
Was that what it was?
Yeah.
I thought it was called 10 Forward, but you might be right. It's probably number 10
when he
at
walks
Forward Ave.
up, there's a number 10 above the door.
So Guinan went to Earth and found a forward Av, and then found
Number 10.
number 10 and was like, I'm buying this no matter what. Well, good on her. We meet Guinan. Picard and Guinan have a little bit of a thing. She thinks she's going to give him tea. He's like, actually, I'm here to talk about matters of the heart or whatever. And she's like, well, we better drink, get the good stuff. They talk about love briefly. Picard sort of says like he's loved before, but he always knew it would be temporary. Guinan tells Picard he's super brave, but when it comes to love, he's something of a coward. And then maybe he needs to learn how to be, you know, a little bit more, I don't know what the word is, but taking a chance on love is basically what Guinan is telling Picard to do. The conversation could go further. However, they are interrupted by the fleet admiral who calls Picard away to let him know that the anomaly is sending that message about wanting Picard to help them, and it's affected Article 13 of the Federation Charter, I believe, which is like someone applying for entry into the Federation for help or something like that. So Picard gets on a shuttle. He goes to the Stargazer. He's impressed at the ship. He's like, hey, you know, the Stargazer was my first command, and this new Stargazer is nice. Seven, not so impressed because some of the technology on this new Stargazer comes from the artifact, the Borg cube from season 1. And she also feels like people are pretty paranoid that she is on board and, you know, ex-Borg on board.
XB.
She's an XB. They get to the bridge. You know, happy times. Everyone is reunited. Jurati says Picard looks positively positronic. Ha ha ha, because he has a positronic body and brain and fake body. Picard tries to speak to the anomaly. Guess what? Huge energy burst. Red alert. Big old ship comes out of it. Guess what it is? Borg. That causes everyone in Star. Yes. Red alert. So, obviously, the entire fleet comes to this anomaly, including the Excelsior. Seven is dubious about the Borg asking to be brought into the Federation, thinks it's pretty crazy. The people, you know, the main characters, they would normally be the bridge crew, but for this, I don't know why, but the Rios plus the people who are on La Sirena go and talk in the conference room about what they want to do. It's a lot of debate. But then the Borg ship hails and says there's no more time, and the Borg queen materializes on the bridge. And then we get the earlier scene, but now in context. The queen is fighting the whole crew, but she's not killing them, she's just stunning them. Picard activates the self-destruct. He turns around, it's the Borg queen he sees. She tells him to look up. The ship explodes. But episode 1 is not yet over. Guys, I'm really trying to pound it through this thing. Picard wakes up. He's back on his estate on Earth. He's in a different uniform. Looks a little bit faster, if you ask me. Big portrait of himself. He's looking for Laris, but instead he's got a synth manservant named Harvey with gold skin. Super creepy. Picard asks what's going on, and yes. Picard asks what's going on and who should show up. But Q.
Jean-Luc, sometimes I think the only reason I come here.
And they have a good speech exchange.
Yes,
Well,
they do. It
good
gets
warring
very
of
speechy.
words.
I loved the sparring of words. It's, you know, it's very dry, but it's sort of like how Picard always bests Q. He's like, damn it, Q. I don't have enough of your childish games. And here's, I figured out a hole in your logic, Q. And Q's like, damn you, Jean-Luc. Fine, I'll go. That's usually how it goes. We go into episode 2 and find out it ain't gonna work on Q this time. In fact, when Picard tries to take the high ground and step to the plate, Q open hand slaps him. Which, pretty de rigueur for our times. Look that up, folks. So Picard is like, stop patronizing me. Q slaps him and says, listen, buddy, this is not another game. This is not a lesson. This is penance. Penance. And he's got pretty bug-eyed. He's looking like he's not really in his own mind. He shows Picard this is the end of the road not taken, and it's kind of like evil Picard basically, but they really souped up the old archetype on steroids. We go into Picard's office, and guess what it's full of? Not old artifacts and rocks and stuff. Skulls of people he's killed. He collects heads.
Yes.
General Martok of the Klingon Empire.
Yep.
Gul Dukat of the Cardassian Empire. And even, most alarmingly, Sarek.
Highly
who
alarming.
apparently, Picard killed on the steps of the Vulcan Science Institute in front of Spock and Amanda. Amanda? Wait. They said his child and his wife, because I guess there would be no Spock, because would there have been a human woman who would have dated Sarek? So don't get... Guys, I said, time gets crazy. Don't think about it too much. Maybe there's no Spock in this universe. Q disappears after they fight back and forth, and Harvey, the weird manservant, informs Picard that it's Eradication Day, the day that, they eradicate people. Meanwhile, things have gone terribly wrong for everyone else as well, but in very weird ways. 7 of 9 wakes up, 7 of 9, aka Annika, and she's in a bed. She has no... Oh, I didn't hear you there.
I just want to check when we could do our 7 of 9.
Oh, shit. Right now.
Yeah.
I forgot. My bad.
7
of 9. What's going on with 7 of 9? Hit him.
She's 7 of 9. 7 of 9.
Guys, I don't even know how to air drum. That was really fun. I forgot all about that. What a banger.
That is a banger. I wish you would release that.
I should. I don't know.
I mean, could you just extend it? Could we have an extended version which becomes a song that you play at shows?
How? I mean, like, they found her in the Delta Quadrant. She joined Voyager.
Yeah.
I guess I could do it. It's kind of writing itself.
Obviously.
Okay. Well,
she got rid of cats because she had a cat suit.
Yeah, she took on all the Borg in the quadrant with Janeway at her side, and they took the Borg to task with the help of species 278, 1 to 2, 4, 12 from the liquid
7, 3, 1.
universe.
Anyway.
Okay, so 7 wakes up in a bedroom. 7 is not 7, but is still 7. It's Annika. No Borg augmentation implants. Has a wedding ring on. The door opens as she's inspecting herself. She thinks it's going to be Raffi. It's not Raffi. It's some little very annoying man that I immediately hate. I hated him immediately. And he's like, hello, dear. Here are the things you have to do, Madam President. So she's the president.
Yes. Sorry, did you actually see him in Ratched? He was in a TV show called Ratched on Netflix, a Ryan Murphy show. So very similar to the American Horror Story stuff.
Yeah.
Super creepy. So he's like this super creepy doctor in it. So I immediately have that feeling of he's creepy from that.
His whole demeanor was like, looking at his pad. Don't worry, there is coffee coming. Here are the things you have to do today. I don't understand quite how his position works. He's like in power, but also
Nepotism,
a secretary.
Whatever.
Yeah, he's the magistrate for the president. So he comes in. Turns out she's married to, is married to some dude who sucks. There's news from the Vulcan front. 7 finds out that Colonel Rios is out there. So 7 immediately gets the gears working. Goes into what she presumes is her office. Asks to speak to someone from the Vulcan front. They suggest, I think, Admiral Sisko. Ooh, reference. She says, no, I want someone on the front lines. Give me that what was his name? Colonel Rios that you mentioned. Yeah, I want to talk to him. And then we flash to Rios. Rios, what is he doing? He wakes up commanding a ship in the middle of a huge dogfight in space with Vulcans. And all of his underlings are like, yeah, we're going to stomp those green bloods into the dirt. They're nasty, disgusting aliens. It's the worst kind of thing. He's in his ship. He gets a call from 7. He picks it up. They go to a private channel. Through code, they manage to figure out that they both are like, what the heck is going on? And so she immediately gives him an order to return to Earth. Where's Elnor? Well, Elnor wakes up in Okinawa, I think. A building explodes. Apparently, he's part of a crew of some sort of underground rebel radical terrorists who are anti... Oh, by the way, I didn't say it's the Confederation of Earth. that is running the planet. And that's who Seven is the president of, and Picard is the evil general dog of. So he's running with anti-Confederation terrorists. They get caught by Confederation forces. The woman he's running with gets taken out immediately. Then he gets held up, but then he gets saved by Raffi. But then more people show up. I guess Raffi is part of the security force, so she's on the inside. So they have to play like he's a prisoner. So she arrests him to keep him safe. Meanwhile, Seven heads to the Seven heads to the Eradication Day speech. And she finds out more about what's going on. She gives a speech, and then they, quote, eradicate dissidents, alien sympathizers, and terrorists. And they have a special one that they're going to eradicate today. So they have to go see Dr. Jurati to meet the special alien they're going to eradicate. Dr. Jurati wakes up in the lab. She's talking to an animated cat on a pad, spot 73. She wonders what the heck is going on. But also it's like, yeah, this is great. Of course, another reason to basically have like a psychic break. President Seven shows up with magistrate creepy guy. They ask to see the special prisoner. Who's the special prisoner? Ding, ding, ding. 'Tis the Borg Queen. The one who told Picard to look up. The Queen seems to be aware of the situation as well. Yeesh. But in a weird way. She's talking in like strange code and being weird the way, a Borg Queen might be when separated from the hive. And they learn that General Picard is on his way to the festivities. That's when Picard and Raffi and Elnor meet up outside of the complex Citadel Palace or whatever. And they continue the ruse with Elnor being a prisoner. They find out Picard tells Raffi about Seven because he did a little research in his office about the Confederation, and they're going to have to work on a way out. They arrive, they meet Seven and her husband. Raffi is none too pleased about that. Picard and Raffi are able to get Elnor in by saying he's a terrorist prisoner who has sensitive information and that Raffi is going to interrogate him personally. Hubby magistrate leaves, and so they all check in with each other and discuss what's going on. Picard mentions that a madman is at the helm, meaning Q, and this is some sort of alternate reality, history, or whatever. They're not entirely sure. They go to see Jurati. More happy reunions. Rios arrives in orbit. Picard gets recognized by the Queen as Locutus. They discuss a lot of options, but time has run out because they need to give the Eradication Day speech, so they launch a desperate plan. Annika, Seven president, I don't know what exactly to call Seven at this point, is going to give a speech.
President Hansen.
Sure, we'll call her President Hansen. I hate that. But yes. And Picard is they're going to stall basically. Meanwhile, Jurati's going to try to contact Rios, take down the transporter block on the Citadel, whatever big building they're in. Raffi and Elnor are going to go to security, and then Elnor is going to Raffi lets Elnor loose and he takes down the guys because they don't choose life. And Rios is annoying Jurati as she tries to work on the transporter lock. Picard hesitates to kill the Queen. When the time comes, the crowd turns. The magistrate notices, but just at that moment, Jurati does it. Boom! They beam out. Everybody beams out. They're on the ship. After some debate, they hook the Queen up to the ship, and they're about to all get in their positions, but who should show up but the magistrate and some other cats with guns. He immediately shoots Elnor in the chest. And then they turn the guns on Picard, and he asks what the trophy on his head should say. Gasp! Dun, dun, dun! And here endeth episode 2 of Picard, season 2.
Woo!
Yeah! Woo! That was, we haven't done 2 episodes.
Good job.
In quite some time. Oh, God. Ooh, really feel it in my bones. Should we, chat about that?
Let's do.
I say, darling, let's do a quick chat about that.
Yes, let's do.
Well,
okay, so full disclosure, I mean, it's April, whatever it is right now. 6, 7 episodes of Picard out now?
6.
6 are out. I saw the first 2 episodes and then had to do like 12 or 13 days in the studio with no real time to watch things afterwards. So I decided, even though I've had the last 2 days, Saturday and Sunday off, not to move forward. That way I don't I don't have the potential for spoilers when I do the rundown, but you know much more.
I know it all. I'm the
You know it all.
all-seeing, all-knowing
I mean,
force.
I've been dying to do this episode so that I can go watch episodes 3 and 4.
Yeah.
I don't know what to even say. I mean, things seem like they were going great, and now Q has shown up, and he seems like a little bit unhinged.
Yeah.
And I don't fully understand. And what I'm saying is, I feel bad for you because I feel like you're going to have to not talk about a lot of the things you probably have been revealed.
Well, I can do them as they come up, and I think I've been trying to follow, all of the. There's some interesting things to come in episode 3, and that there's something that will require quite an interesting discussion around canon.
Love it.
That's coming.
Okay.
And I think I know where you'll land on it, but there have been a lot of people that feel that canonically something is out of sync. I disagree.
No.
I think I'm going to side with you. Well, I don't know how you're going to take it, but I think you will figure something out.
I'm Mr. Equanimity. I see both sides.
Yeah, I've had a couple of arguments with people about.
Really?
Yeah.
Is tearing the Star Trek world?
It's fun. I love having silly arguments with people.
Oh,
about
gosh.
Star Trek.
Of course you do.
I know, I have to keep it anonymous because I'm like, well, I am a Star Trek podcast. Please don't give me a shit review.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, listen.
What?
If they're angry enough, maybe it'll just draw more traffic to our site.
Maybe.
Well, I guess the only thing to really say is things seem to be going okay, except that Picard had botched this possible matchmaking thing. I truly don't get it. He's like 1 billion years old. He's
only got 6 years left to live or something.
Something like natural death is coming soon. He lives on a beautiful, like, French, arid vineyard. And here's Laris, whom he trusts with his life. He's been a friend for such a long time. No other romantic partners on the horizon. But he's still like, I'm Picard. I'm as young as I always was, and I want to go to the stars. And I guess there's some questions about his relationship with his mother that maybe is part of the foundation of season 2 and what he has with love. But other than that, things were going great until Q showed up at the time that the ship exploded, when the Borg Queen showed up.
Who looked super creepy and new and different. And the Borg ship itself looked different.
I did enjoy the little... Yeah, well, yeah, exactly. Everything's a little bit edgier. Yeah, Q looks really...
So where did the Borg ship come from?
Out of the space hole.
Yeah, but like from a different time, from a different universe?
Well, they mentioned something in episode 1, I think, about how Borg Queens have like trans-time awareness or something like that. So a Borg Queen, I guess, can exist in multiple timelines at once, or is aware of multiple timelines happening, or other timelines going on. Which I guess sort of makes sense given the First Contact, plot. I don't know. I always feel like it's a dangerous game for any sci-fi series to be like, we're going to do a whole thing based on time dilation, time anomalies, you know what I mean?
And that is where the canon problem or discussion comes in.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, well, we shall see. Yeah, it's just like, I won't even get into I'm going to watch episode 3 and we'll talk about it. But anyway, I love it.
I had so much fun. The first episode, it was just like, oh, the band's back together. It was super fun. Jurati for me is coming out as the most entertaining.
Agreed.
And no spoilers, but she has a very interesting storyline this season.
Oh, I believe it. She would have to. She's the the only one who's like doing what she always did.
Yeah.
In both, she's like, I'm still here doing this thing.
But she really gets character development in the way, and like I genuinely feel that Jurati shows the most depth and development of her character of any of them in this season.
Yeah.
I would go so far as to say she would get my MVP for Best Actor.
Oh, wonderful.
Indeed.
Well, I can't wait. I loved her last season, even though her role was basically to be...
She cried every
just
episode.
crying and murdering people the whole time.
Oops, did I kill you? I'm so
But she
sad.
was delightfully awkward before she saw the revelation, and that was super fun. Anyway, I'm glad about that. I do feel like when characters get back in Starfleet, it's hard to give them backstory because now they're like, I'm back in Starfleet. Well, things are great. Like, what has Rios been doing? Just being a good captain? Who cares?
Yeah. And we saw Guinan again.
We saw Guinan again running a
Love that.
bar, aging, seeming to age as humans do because she wishes to be polite to humans, but also because that's how it works with actors. Same thing with Q. I love how they're like, oh,
Let me
Jean-Luc,
catch
you
up.
got old. Let me catch up. Boom. Well, they took care of those problems,
Yeah.
and it's great to see all those, those actors, I'm enjoying it. I definitely was. The thing I was not prepared for, we saw the preview. I knew Q was involved. Something crazy was going to happen. Alternate universe time thing or whatever. I was not prepared for Picard's room full of punctured skulls. That this Picard was the one that our Picard has replaced was truly a bloodthirsty monster.
Yeah.
The opposite of a archaeologist or whatever, anthropologist. I guess xenologist. I don't know.
Just move on.
History of sentient beings person.
I just to talk, touching on that room, it was so fun to look at and just look at,
Yes.
try to catch things. What did you see?
Mhm.
The weapons
Yes.
that were on the walls, the picture that was on the wall. It was it's quite fun, sort of imagining this alternative Picard being as successful but crazy.
Yeah. Success. He was going to be successful at whatever he did. And in this timeline, he's a xenophobic, bloodthirsty monster. Oh, and the reason that he has a synth body in this universe is because he had to chase Gul Dukat through some forest and almost died. And that's why he was put into his synth body positronic brain thing. That's the explanation for that. Anyway, I can't wait for it. Yeah.
Did you notice, this will also become apparent, when there was a little flash of the city of San Francisco.
Yeah.
Did you see the hologram? Who that was?
No.
It was Adam Sung.
Was it really?
Yes.
Interesting.
Very interesting.
Wonderful.
So just
Well-
a little Easter egg.
Easter egg. Oh,
It's not really
no.
an Easter egg. It's more of a plot point.
A plot point. I seem to remember sort of seeing that the first time I watched it, but not in this rewatch when I was just taking notes and stuff. So I may have to go just look at that scene just to see what the deal is. Anyway, I'm very excited for episode 3.
Yes, as you should. And there are so many Easter eggs, and you'll see why.
Wonderful, wonderful. Should we move on to quotable moments? Uh-oh.
Oh, yes.
I hit my stuff.
We lost your quotable moments. Quotable
I got
moments.
it. All right.
Quotable moments. All right. For you.
Welcome, my friend, to the end of the road not taken.
You do melodrama
cute.
very well.
Q being a rabid dog. I don't know.
I had one. Rios, get us there as fast as you can, short of flying us through a sun.
I love that.
Great.
Rios is great. Great captain. The Jurati quote that you referenced earlier, my longest lasting intimate relationship, including the one that I just ended, is less than a year. I was recently cleared of murdering my previous boyfriend due to an alien-induced temporary insanity, so I'm not exactly dating material,
That's a hard line to deliver. That is a
Yes.
long bit of text, and it doesn't flow off the tongue.
Right. And she was pretending to be drunk.
Yeah.
So just magnificent.
Wonderful. I had Jean-Luc, you're being ridiculous. Excuse me.
Excuse me.
Dare you? Excuse me.
Ridiculous. Yes, that was great. Did he say, I didn't write this down, but I'm just remembering that I feel like he said, Q, I don't have time for your bullshit, which I thought
I'm
was
too
just
old
so
for your
wonderful.
bullshit, Q.
I'm too old for your bullshit, Q.
It was the way that he said bullshit. Bullshit. It was just so beautifully off the tongue, whatever. It was just so awesome.
They really do know how to deliver profanity in Picard. They do it super well.
I feel like Sir Patstu, not that he doesn't like using them. I think if he's going to use it, he's going to use it well. He's going to use it well.
And the last one I had was also from episode 1. Raffi says, Seven, there's always folks out there in trouble. What kind of asshole needs to be more important than that?
Yeah.
Which is pretty much sums up their dynamic, I think.
I had one more, and it was just sort of typical Q fashion, and he said, "The chase is bleeding. The chase is dying in your arms, and I am but a suture in the wound."
Yeah, Q had a lot of crazy Shakespeare gone mad things. I think he said, "A game, you're the very board on which the game is played, Picard." Like all these crazy things. He's definitely he's Macbeth. He's the witches. He's Lady Macbeth.
He threw in Macbeth though, because he said, trying to wash your hands. Like
Macbeth.
Yes,
he did. Yeah. So you can't get the spots out. Yes, That's right. He quoted Macbeth. Yeah, there was so much that Q. I feel like Q gave us a lot of a densely packed nugget of stuff in that first interaction, which I fully at least do not understand totally. It's like Picard's not the game; he's the board. The game is being played on, and all this,
Do you think maybe we should have talked about this in Let's Chat? Do you think that Q is, up to no good, or is there something he's trying to do? That's because he quite likes Picard. We know that he loves Picard.
But
he likes
seems
to vex
very mad
him.
at him.
He does. Yeah, but why?
He usually likes to vex Picard in his judgments of humanity as a species, but now he seems very angry at Picard, and he wants him to pay for something. That's why he says it's not a lesson; it's penance.
Is it Picard's penance or humanity's penance?
I don't know. And Q is usually, however, capricious or malevolent he is. He's very lighthearted with himself. Just in his own personal, the way he deals with things. He'll show up lying sideways, or even when he was dealing with Janeway, he'd show up in coffee, lying on the couch, or in various. Here he just was walking around in a dark suit, just looking just pissed. It's very un-Q like.
Well, we'll see if Q is the villain or if there are other villains.
Yeah, I suspect something's going on with Q. I don't know that he. I don't know. But yeah, I think there's more than just Q being "Hey, I'm here to screw up your life again, baby." I think it's something more, but we'll see.
Oh, there was one thing I wanted to ask. In the alternative Picard, and he's looking at a speech he gave on a hologram. That speech he says, and he's very the obviously the hand movements and whatever, but he says he's pointing at the camera. He's "You, something about you," and it gave me very Kitchener / Uncle Sam vibes from was it World War I?
Uncle Sam is World War One, I think. Yeah. You. Yeah, it's weird.
I remember I read something about that recently and how that piece of propaganda was used to good effect, I guess, to really get people on board with their message. So I thought that was an interesting use of some historical references.
Oh yeah, definitely straight out of the playbook of war mongering. And
oh, I forgot one more thing.
What's that?
Did you notice who Jurati's cat was voiced by?
Yes. Hold on. Was it Patton Oswalt?
Yes.
It was. Yes.
Very
good.
Yeah,
I recognize him. I recognize his voice. I don't know. Everywhere he pops up a lot. I did think that was cute.
Yeah.
I don't know if we get to see Spot 70. Don't tell me, but I hope we see Spot 73 again.
I can confirm nor deny.
And I appreciate that about you. Now, shall we move on to news?
Ooh, let's move on to news.
News from around the galaxy.
Well, there's actually quite a lot of news because, dear listener, it was recently Star Trek Day.
Star Trek Day!
Star Trek Day, which was rather fun. And, of course, this weekend, it is Star Trek Mission Chicago. So
I think I've seen a couple of things there, yeah.
Yeah,
Great.
Shout out to our friend Eric, our patron Eric, who is in the Chicago area. Hope you managed to make it this weekend.
Oh, yeah, I hope
you
did.
and I wanted to go, but
we did. We had big plans.
Schedules, your schedule with, studio stuff. And
yeah.
I was at Tartan Day yesterday, which was rather fun. Anyway, Star Trek Mission Chicago. So News this week, Star Trek The Motion Picture, the director's cut, is now available on Paramount Plus as of First Contact Day, April 5th. So maybe we'll do a watch party around Star Trek The Motion Picture. Who knows? Star Trek Mission Chicago, we have seen a couple of new things. They like to unveil things at these sort of Comic-Con / Star Trek missions. So we have seen a new Lower Decks trailer. Pew, 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 pew. Just audio, and it obviously is going to deal with Captain Freeman's arrest. And what's the crew going to do? There is some talk of potentially stealing a ship, so we'll see. There was also an audio trailer for Star Trek Picard Season 3. Did you see?
Right.
Yeah.
I did not see that trailer. I've just seen buzz about it.
Getting the band back together. We confirmed we have Worf. I don't know how to do this. We have Worf, Geordi,
Michael Dorr,
Marie,
LeVar Burton.
Yeah, okay. Dr. Crusher.
God. I was going to say
Gates
Beverly
McFadden.
Crusher. Gates McFadden.
And Deanna Troi as Marina Sirtis. Oh, obviously, and of course, Jonathan Frakes.
Okay, of course, Frakesy.
Of course, Frakesy. I don't know about Data, but I assume so because he's been in 1 and 2. But perhaps we'll see.
Yeah,
we'll see. And he
seems like he's always along, but Data wouldn't be Data, right?
Yeah, he might be another soon character. Yeah. We're not sure. And Strange New Worlds posters came out, and you might find this very interesting. They made a mistake. They actually posted 2 posters of Spock and the new Doctor with their first names. So Spock actually has a first name.
Spock has a first name.
Spock has a first name. Well, the thing is, then they retracted it and said, oops, this was released in error, and those aren't the real first names. However, the first names used were created by writers, I think, back in maybe the 80s or something, post-cartoon, and maybe in some sort of Star Trek-approved fiction. So I couldn't pronounce the name, and I've slightly forgotten it. But yes, so they have released those, and we are waiting to see what his actual first name will be.
Well.
Indeed.
And we're less than a month away from the premiere of Strange New Worlds.
We are. May 5th, is it?
5th, yeah.
May 5th. Fuck you, May 4th. Yes, indeed. Fuck you, Star Wars. And that's all from the news. Well, that's rather fun.
I think it's time for next time.
Woo!
Next time on Set Phasers.
Next time. Yeah, listen, gang. Are we going to do 2 episodes? I meant to mention this before.
We ought to.
All right.
So
we ought to do
and then
episodes 3 and 4. Great.
Yeah.
So we're going to do episodes 3 and 4 next time. I know their titles. I haven't seen them. 3 is called Assimilations. That's very interesting. And 4 is called Watcher. Also very interesting. So provocative. But yes, welcome back to Set Phasers. We're covering Star Wars. If you like what you heard and you stumbled across
Are we covering Star Wars?
Did I say Star Wars?
You did.
Oh, because you put it in my head.
I'm sorry, that's my fault.
With your vitriol. We're covering Star Trek.
Yes. And we don't hate Star Wars, just for the purposes of this podcast.
It's a character that we play.
Yes, character, that's it.
It's a character.
Like Julia.
And James.
Julia and James. This could be our next radio podcast.
This is not bad.
Julia
we should make
James.
mini episodes of Julia and James.
Yeah.
So why did that happen? Listen, we put out new episodes every Monday when we get our act together, and our act is together right now. So we'll be dropping new episodes about Star Trek Picard and Star Trek Strange New Worlds for the next couple of weeks. So please find us wherever you get your podcasts.
Indeed. And if you want to join our Patreon, please do. We are at patreon.com/setovens.
Oh, dear.
You know by now, it's Set Phasers.
Yes.
And we would love to have you as part of our community. Because we get together, we have Zoom parties, which is rather fun. Watch parties also, and you, of course, get early access to audio and video episodes, respectively. Patreon.com/setphasers.
If you want to see what we look like when we do these ridiculous voices, you only need to become a patron of the podcast.
And our air drumming.
It's stupendous. And
Yes.
because it's Picard, it's going to happen every episode. Yes. What else do we normally say? Meme Game Strong. Do follow us on Instagram and Facebook. It's all Stevie. I basically don't do anything, but I am here as a cheerleader. Rah rah sis boom rah.
Oh dear, well until next time, I am Stevie Manns, cooking up something in the kitchen, just
And
for
I,
you.
and I'm a Borg queen, and the world is a lie. And this has been Set Phasers, a highly illogical Star Trek podcast.
Computer, end program.
She got posher.
Did I?
Computer.
Oh, computer,
Computer.
end the program.
End
Oven,
program.
oven, off.
Oven. Off oven.
If Julia
dear.
Child had a clapper.
Oven.
Oven,
Oven.
Off.
Hello. Off oven.
off, off.
The joy.
Oof, oof.
Oof, oof, oven.